If you are a B2B service-based business owner and you are looking to gain more clients, create more impact and more revenue in your business, tune in to Amplify Your Marketing Message with Campbell Rapin. Every week, we're going to take you through how to build an audience of buyers, mastering your marketing message, and making offers that convert consistently. We'll see you all on the inside. Welcome back, my friends. The most important part of the skill set of being a business owner is building client growth. And yet, this is the biggest struggle. So today on our episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message, I want to talk to you about how to attract a buyer. And this is going to be a really important episode. So drop what you're doing, sit and focus, and be sure to save this episode and to share it within your business community, because this one is important. Buyers are the lifeblood of your business. And if you are not having consistent conversations with people who are buyers, you likely are on oxygen and life support in your business. And you need to address this, correct it. And today's episode is going to show you how to do that. So the first thing I want to talk about is what makes a buyer different than people who might be in your ecosystem. Well, at the very, very heart of it, it comes down to the fact that buyers have an intention to purchase. And when they are ready to purchase, it is because they have a couple of characteristics. They are problem aware. They are actively seeking solutions. They have an awareness that they are unable or have not had success creating alternate patterns on their own. And chances are they've already looked and explored other options before they show up and say to you these magical words that every business owner does a happy dance around, which is, tell me what it's like to work with you. I believe you can help guide me to the result I seek. So the first thing I said is the intention to buy. And what is so important, I know we talk a lot about lead generation. You've heard this from people. People are likely all the time saying to you, I will find you leads. I will caution you right now. It is not about finding leads, because leads are just names, phone numbers, and emails. What matters to the growth of your business is finding people who are buyers, intentional shoppers for your programs and services. And that is why when I'm working with my clients in the Business Scale Accelerator, we talk a lot about curating the demand of your services. And that's building an ecosystem so that you have the right people that are buyer intentional coming into your ecosystem, and you as the business owner have an outbound strategy that is very targeted because you know how to identify them, how to connect to them, and how to lead the offer so that you see high client conversion rates. And if you haven't seen the episode where I've taken you through how to identify a buyer, go find that here on the podcast, because it's a really important prerequisite in order for you to then attract them. So we've told you what a buyer is. What makes somebody get out their credit card? Well, I will tell you this. It starts with trust and follows with confidence that you're the right guide. And it is ultimately all about certainty, and certainty that you have the knowledge, skills, and expertise to guide somebody to the results. Because here's the thing you need to hear. Nobody is going to pay you for knowledge. And you just went, oh, that just felt uncomfortable. What do you mean, Christine? Well, I will tell you this. Knowledge is almost everywhere. And so many will go to free resources and not put out their credit card with a buyer intent to acquire knowledge from you. What they will put out their credit card for is implementation of the knowledge. It's transfer of skills, capabilities, and confidence. And this is it. Buyers will exchange their credit card, make investment in your programs and services if they have certainty that the results they seek are going to be greater in time and money and energy by working with you to do it together. Note I said do it together, because they have likely already tried the self-serve option. And we get a little frightened in the world of business, particularly for service providers, which is mostly who listens here on our podcast. Service providers get really afraid that they think, I want to do a done for you service, or a done with you service, or a self-select service. And I will tell you that right now in the marketplace, where my business has seen the most growth, is doing it with people. It's the guidance they need because they have the knowledge, but they can't implement it, or they're implementing it, it's not really effective. And they don't want a cookie cutter approach. They want certainty that you can help them with their unique lens, their unique challenges, their unique goals and results they seek. And so if people start with trust, confidence, and certainty, I'm going to be asking you here right clearly in a moment of truth. What do you actively do every single day to build those three things? Your business is built on strangers. Strangers will not put money on the table if they don't trust you, they don't have confidence in your skill set and you as a human being, and they don't have certainty that you know what you're doing. So one of the biggest things in the marketing engine for every business to have client growth is building intentional actions, multiple steps and engagement points, multiple ways to experience, to have those three things already on the table before an offer is ever made. And so I want you to be thinking right now, do I have that? When's the last time I looked at it? And maybe instead of thinking about your how, I want you to think about the other person, the buyer, and see what did they experience. Little bits of fine tuning on this can have really big impact in your client growth numbers. And if you don't yet have those strategies in place, I want to tell you now how to do that. It comes down to asking three very simple questions. The answers themselves are a little elusive, and we all have our blind spots to it. And that's why working with a mentor, particularly working in our business with the Scale Accelerator, can really help you dial this in. But it starts by recognizing that there are three things you need to be able to do to attract a person who will invest with you. The first thing is to be human and to know why you are choosing long-term to be there. Because people, when they're shopping with buyer's intent, have to be sure that you are in it for the long haul. And they have to see that you're human. The perfection reel, the need to have everything, put with bells, bows, and whistles on it is crazy. People right now want authenticity. And we talk a lot about it, but are you showing up? All of you. Because the why, your personal why in business needs to be at the heart of what you do, and it has to be something you share. One of the big tips I tell my clients, I will gift it to you here as an audience member, is you need to be talking about the stories that make you who you are, the ugly chapters and the highlight reel, so that people can see you in your winning season and in your losing seasons. And we all have them, because your buyer right now is desiring a winning season and they're in a losing season. And guess what the human journey is all about? Is the swing of the pendulum between the two. And when they seek results and when they seek to put their credit card on the table, what they're saying is, I want you to equip me to handle the winning seasons with grace. And I want to get out of the losing seasons as quickly as I can, because I have new foundations to tackle old patterns. So that human why is really, really important. So I want you to go, why are you doing this? What's the story you don't want to tell? And how can you be more human to build the trust, confidence, and certainty that for you, this person who's the buyer says you're my must-hire choice. And here's the truth. There's 8 billion people on the planet. You being exactly who you are with all of your warts, all of your awesomeness is needed by somebody. You have to be the beacon, and you have to be committed in the long term for them to come find you. Because guess what? They're in the swing between the winning and losing season, and sometimes they will come forward and sometimes they'll white knuckle it and come backwards. You need to be the consistent person in their life. And I hear it in my business time and time again. I knew I would hire you 3 years ago. I was just waiting to stop being scared. I know I'll be here next year. And if you're ready right now, please don't wait. But if you are uncertain in yourself, but certain in me, I look forward to working with you next year. Here's the thing though, are you doing that for your business? The second question you need to get clear on is a deep, deep understanding of the journey they are walking. I think sometimes the marketing world has given you a lot of false information about describe the problem. And maybe 10 years in marketing, that was a highly effective strategy. We were very fear based, very bro culture in our marketing. And I will tell you right now, especially if you're a service provider, stop doing that. The world has changed. We've come out of a pandemic. Right now, what we need is compassion. Right now, what we need is hope. Right now, what we need is an understanding because we're all human. And so the second piece of the puzzle is to really get a deep understanding that you cannot build your marketing around describing a problem. So watch your websites, watch your copy, watch all of the touch points of the connection and the communication, that it's not about describing the problem. Because describing the problem leads to two paths. One, I don't see myself in the storyline and I walk right past you, which means you never get hired by the buyer because they don't connect to you. Second thing that could happen is I do see myself in the description, but the way you're describing it, because you're already in the place of enlightenment, you've already solved this yourself, you are criticizing, you're shaming, you're judging, and I don't feel safe to lean in and say, I need help. And that leads to zero movement, my friends, and that doesn't help you get clients. So instead, I want to change. This is me being a catalyst. I want to change the way you think. Change the way you think about marketing messaging. I want you to instead go sit in a non-judgmental place in the deep, deep end of where your client is right now in the darkness. I want you to put yourself in their shoes. If you walk those shoes, I want you to show them that. I want you to sit with non-judgment. I want you to show up with human. I want you to show up with compassion. And I want you to show up with certainty that staying here is optional. And when they are ready with the intent to move, you need to be positioning yourself as the guide for the right people. And if they are not the right people, let them walk past you. Don't serve a disconnect. But that is the second piece of the puzzle, which is your deep understanding of what are the consequences, what are the drivers, and what needs to happen for me to be a buyer, to prioritize this investment, and to have the choice that you are my guide. The third piece of the puzzle of this is why you. And this is something I will tell you, I see all of us wobble too much around. We don't have clarity about why we should put money in our pockets. Truthfully, that is a problem because right now, if you're not certain that you can command the result, you can guide the result, you're worth every investment level you've set, they don't feel certain in you either, and they won't buy from you. They will seek the marketplace for somebody else. So you need to own confidently the ability to do a couple of things: to be human, to create safety, to absolutely know how to create the result, and to recognize it's not you creating the result, it's you guiding somebody to create it for themselves. There's an interdependence and an independence in part of that. And right now, I think sometimes one of the reasons why buyers feel so jaded is they have invested with other people who could get the results for themselves, but don't know how to guide people to get the results for themselves. So that's how you can be really, really strong in the marketplace. If you're choosing to guide, if you're a service provider, equip yourself to know how to style flex, to know how to lead, to create that safety, and to recognize you must pace with your buyer. You must have certainty in the result. And you need to adjust and create your programs and services to build that result. Because here's the kicker. You've heard me say it. I keep saying it because it is so true. People will not pay for your time. And sometimes the biggest gap is we get really caught up because we don't trust our ability. We don't have the ownership of our skill set and what our value, what we said is the price for the investment. And as a consequence to that, we get really cut into the framework. If you want to work with me, it looks like this: 2 weeks of this, 7 weeks of that, blah, 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 blah. Who cares? If I was a buyer, that would just generally overwhelm me and defer my decision. It's not helpful information unless asked. You need to have a roadmap. You need to be certain that roadmap is valued. And it's valued because you understand the darkness and you slow it down, pace with the client, and create trust, confidence, and certainty. So the 3 so whats, I want to recap them for you. You need to know what makes you confident in your long-term commitment. What's your story? What makes you, you? Number 2, and that can sometimes be referred to as the why story. Number 2, you need to have a really deep understanding of the consequences. You need to walk the shoes your client buyer is walking currently. Thirdly, you need to know and own your value, because clients are looking to invest in a result. And they're looking for other people that they can trust, that they can borrow confidence around, and that they are certain you know what you're doing, you're credible, and you can teach, guide, mentor, and deliver a change in the pattern so that they don't see the same negative consequences that they have on their own. And if you want to attract a buyer, you need to stop sounding like everybody else. You need to get really clear on the language. You need to get really clear your business will be built on strangers. You need to get really clear that it's not about buying the leads. It is about the certainty and the confidence of what you can deliver. Because when that's there and you are active in your visibility strategy, there's 25 ways you can do this or more. Pick your lane, master it, and you will start to see this ecosystem, which is not about fans. It's not about who has the biggest list. It is about, I have engaged buyers. And buyers come to you with the intent to purchase. They've done their research. Make sure you've got a really good story that they can find. And they're going to come to you and ask you those magical words. Tell me what it's like to work with you. And likely because they have been doing the research, they know what the result is you stand for. They know your methodology to a certain extent. And they're saying, I think I need A or B. What do you think? And when they tell you that, that's when you know they have confidence in you. And you need to listen to what do they need. And then you show up and serve it at the very highest level. They know your programs and services by name. They've chosen you as the must hire. And your job is to reinforce if you feel that you can help them get that result, not once, but repeatedly, lead the offer. That's how we get more buyers. That's how we attract those dream clients. You are not for everybody, but what do you stand for? If you're not sure, and some of this feels like uncertain for you, I want you to come explore ChristineCampbellRapin.com and look at the programs that I offer. My ultimate goal with clients is to create the client growth engine, to know what you stand for, to figure out what lane you're in and master it so that you have one conversation that leads to one amazing dream client. This is not a numbers game. This is about value creation and delivering. The world needs what you have to offer. I help people connect marketing, sales, and operations and get visible to know how to identify, attract, and convert that buyer. So if you haven't seen the other episodes about identifying your buyer, go back and find it. Share this within your network. And if you need support, come and have a conversation with me. Let's figure out how to build the certainty, trust, and confidence for you first, so that your buyer can also then borrow it from you and you can move more quickly from first contact to paid client, because that's how you're going to make the biggest catalyst, the biggest ripples, the biggest transformation, and for you to build the lifestyle you want around a business that is about service. I am Christine Campbell Rapin. I'll see you all on our next episode. That's a wrap on another amazing episode of Amplify Your Marketing Message with me, your host, Christine Campbell Rapin. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you don't miss another great episode. And be sure to visit ChristineCampbellRapin.com/podcast to get a free resource on how to master your marketing message. We'll see you all on our next episode.